interview my grandpa, which is Nick Vanderstel. Where were you born, Nick, Grandpa?
I was born in Holland, Kees, in a big city called Rotterdam. It was a great big harbor city when all the ships used to come in. And I was born in 1935, man.
Did you live through the war?
Yeah, I lived during the whole war. The war started in 1940 when I was only 5 years old, and then it lasted all the way till 1945. And the Germans were in my country. They occupied us and took away everything we had, took away all the food, and we had a pretty tough time during the war. We were bombed every day, but the Americans would come over on the way to Germany and bomb them, and they'd bomb us, and we spent half the night in bomb shelters.
Mm. What did you eat, and how were the schools?
Well, the food wasn't, there wasn't any food. The stores were all closed, and the Germans used to come by and drop off truckloads of sugar beets, and we'd eat sugar beets, and we had them fried and cooked and raw and every which way you could fix them. And my dad and I used to go out into the country, and then the farmers would harvest the crops, and whatever was left we could have. So we'd go out there and we'd get pieces of potatoes and Brussels sprouts and wheat, and my mom would take the wheat and grind it up, and we'd make some kind of a bread out of it. We just managed to get by.
When did you come to the United States?
Oh, 1949, my dad put in for a visa with the American consulate in Rotterdam, and we got permission to come to the United States in 1950.
Were you in the Marines in 1952 in the Korean War?
Well, yes. After I'd been in this country for a while, I was 17 and just learned to speak English. And my mom and dad and I agreed that maybe I should go into service, and I joined the service when I was 17. And I went to boot camp in San Diego. And then from there we went to Camp Pendleton, and in Camp Pendleton I went through combat training. And then they put us on a ship and sent us to Korea, where I was over there for 14 months.
Can you tell us a little bit what boot camp was like?
Yeah, boot camp is where you first come, when you first join the service, and first thing they do, they take away all your civilian clothes and they give you Marine Corps clothes. And then they take you to the barber shop and they take your head and they shave every hair that's on your head, totally bald. And then they start teaching you to be Marines.
So how did you like it when you were bald?
I didn't like it much. I'm still bald. Never grew back.
So when did you come to California and start living?
Well, then after I got out of service in 1956, I went back to Utah for a while where my parents lived, and I didn't like Utah too much, so I came out to California and found a job, and I met your grandma, and everything else. We lived here for many years, and we lived in Oceanside for a while, and we bought a house in Vista, California. We lived there for about 5-6 years, and your dad went to school in Vista, the junior high school, and then we heard Fallbrook had a pretty good school system, and we moved to Fallbrook and bought a place in Fallbrook, built a nice house there. We now live on a small ranch in Fallbrook, and we like it here. And your dad's gone to school since then, went to college, and became an engineer, and he worked for a big company now. And you're now a second-generation Californian.
So that concludes interviewing my grandpa.
It was a nice interview. Grandpa, I enjoyed that very much. And I'm very proud of you, too.